From the 1011 Now streaming studio, this is The Night Beat.
Good evening, I'm Danielle Shenk with your headlines for Tuesday, May 6th. Before we get to election and state capitol news, we begin with some notable court cases. A plea deal has been reached in a 2022 Lincoln stabbing case. 64-year-old Charles Alexander pleaded guilty to manslaughter after a woman was fatally stabbed in a North Lincoln mobile home. The original second-degree murder charge is now reduced. He faces up to 20 years in prison at his July sentencing. Also set for July, 30-year-old Caleb Barnett of Aurora will undergo yet another competency review. Today, a judge ruled for the sixth time that he's unfit to stand trial in the killing of his stepfather, Ross Nicholas. Barnett has been receiving treatment at the Lincoln Regional Center since 2023. And a Grand Island teen will stay behind bars after losing his appeal. 18-year-old Austin Kelly is serving 18 to 38 years for conspiracy to commit robbery tied to a murder at Fauner Park. He argued his lawyer was ineffective and his sentence too long, but the Nebraska Court of Appeals disagreed. Now to the election. For some Nebraskans, this election marks the first time they've ever cast a ballot, not because they just turned 18, but because their voting rights were recently restored. The Nebraska Supreme Court upheld a law allowing felons to vote after completing their sentence, overcoming a major legal challenge. Jason Whitmer, who spent years in the correctional system after a felony conviction, says voting is more than a civic duty. It's a symbol of a second chance.
It's definitely a newer experience because it's kind of a little intimidating. You're going in there, you're making choices, but also it's exciting because you know that your voice is part of democracy.
Whitmer advocated with the ACLU to help get the law passed and says the fight isn't over, calling for voting rights to be extended to those in jail on misdemeanor charges or awaiting trial. Now, with just 9 days left to finalize the state budget, Nebraska lawmakers are facing a shortfall of hundreds of millions of dollars, but Governor Jim Pillen says it will get done. According to the Nebraska Examiner, more than $300 million of that gap comes from the state now picking up Medicaid costs once covered by the federal government. Another $200 million is due to lower than expected revenues. Debates over cuts and reallocations will continue until the May 15th deadline. Also at the state capitol, advocates rallied to protect early education programs serving thousands of families amid fears of federal funding cuts. The concern follows a leaked Trump administration budget proposal from last month, suggesting Head Start funding could be at risk. While the version passed Friday shows no apparent cuts, according to the Associated Press, advocates say the threat remains.
So if anything were to happen to Head Start here in Lincoln, our program serves over 440 children and families, that access would be cut off, and it would mean that children would not have access to that quality care and education.
Community action data from 2023 shows nearly 90% of their Head Start funding, about $10 million, came from federal grants. Lastly, in some much lighter news, following in her father's footsteps, Lincoln native Jadyn Cree is moving on to the next round of NBC's The Voice. During last night's playoff round, her coach, Michael Bublé, announced that Cree and another contestant will advance to next week's live shows. Bublé praised Cree's talent and star quality as non-negotiable and said she's going to rock the upcoming live performances. Rounding out your night beat is a check of the 7-day forecast.
You've been listening to The Night Beat. Watch, listen, and stream on the 1011 app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.